Well, a very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all my friends and colleagues around the world. Today, we are again with you all on another Podina session, which is a very good topic, which I think is one of the important topics that we are looking at in 21st century dentistry, and especially after this COVID 19, a bond and communication. I think that is one thing that we are looking at all together as a clinician, as a professional, and before that, as a person. And to share these views and experience with us, we have none other than Dr. Lina, all the way from Lithuania. Welcome, Dr. Lina, to our Podina session, ma'am.
Hi, Prashant. It's my huge pleasure to be here.
It's indeed an honor and pleasure for us as well to giving you your precious time with us and sharing the I think the topic which is the need of the hour, which I always say a bond and communication. That's what we are looking at. Before we go ahead with Dr. Lina's very fantastic presentation about how we can create those bonds, I would like to share some of her credentials with you all. Dr. Lina was born in Lithuania and she graduated from the Lithuania Health Science University in 2015 and has been working in the field of prosthodontics since then. From the very start, she has been working in the biggest clinic in Lithuania with excellent team of colleagues with highly specialized field of dentistry. She has been deepening her knowledge in the different courses and conferences on the prosthodontic work excitedly and applying it her in the everyday daily practice. Also, she was lucky to have always really skilled mentors guiding her. One of the many of her passions, including health, various sports, and spending time in nature, was art. Working as a dentist, she found herself a need to create a well she was creating smiles for people. Working in the area of prosthodontics merged her wish to calculate, create in artistic and mechanic aspects, also keeping balance with nature. After some time, she felt that need to understand the bigger picture of everything that is happening with people, and that is bond and communication. She wanted to profoundly understand the pattern and systems in which people are behaving, why, and that is how to work according to these currents, and most importantly, to clarify why are we all doing what we are doing, and that's important. In the year 2017, she got her ICF coach certification at BKC, also did lot of training based on Roger Hamilton's system at Genius University and by Lina Daniel, and also learning from great mentors like Terry Vincent. She always felt the need for constant growth and evolution, so investing in education in dentistry to constantly improve as a specialist in her field, in her personal growth, and to help her live purposefully and at the same time in service to others. Became priorities, education, never ending transformations, evolution, human connection, and unity are most important aspects of her life. I am so honored to introduce you, ma'am, today, and it's indeed a pleasure and honor for all of us at the Global Summit to have you for this webinar. How do you think, Dr. Lina, what is the future of dentistry after this COVID 19? And especially, I say that once we have actually seen this lot of turmoils people have gone through, what is your uptake on that, please?
Uh, when considering the future, we only have our own imagination, right? And none of us actually know how it's going to go. But what I see so far, that it's really transforming people, human person-to-person connections, and our responsibility for not only our but others' health. And yeah, when we are talking about dentistry, I think that definitely we will be looking way more to all the disinfection protocols, all the everything to control disease and cross contamination. So I think that digital dentistry will definitely progress forward and take bigger part, and also for example, rubber dam usage, right? That will be something inevitable and self-understandable with no exceptions, right? And yeah, I see much more attention to to simply control all the cross contamination possibilities.
But how do you think as a bond, that's what we are looking at, which has been missing? I think I think it's a key to dentistry now, especially after this COVID-19, when the things have actually, like if you see, the pandemic has actually hit all across the globe, and people are gone into some kind of overthinking, or probably a kind of like they are not able to get out of that something which has been missing inside. I think, and especially if you see the kind of scare which the people have developed, especially visiting to dentists, right? You must have came across that people were like a little bit scared about visiting a dentist, that whether they were able to not. So that bond, how you think that we can actually do that bond and take it, and we can make that bond much more stronger now? What is your?
When talking about the bond between patient and a doctor, uh, I can already see how people are. Well, actually, in Lithuania, we have been working for 3 months now. So, straight after quarantine, when all the dentists were shut down, what I saw patients who really missed their doctors, they really missed communicating. They were so chatty and they simply wanted that human connection. Speaking with someone like person to person, not only online.
Right.
So I saw that, and so people do miss that. But the other thing, when now we have to use so much boundaries, so much walls between us, not showing our face, not shaking hands, and things like that, it does raise some challenges to bond with the person, because for some people that are really powerful channels for bonding, all
Right.
these yeah, seeing someone's face, for example, or seeing doctors smile. Right?
Yes,
So
that's I think that's the one thing which I always say. Earlier we used to, like when we are greeting our patients, they will with a big smile on our face, and he can see that smile. And I think the first bond between the two individuals is, I think, the smile and the eye. That's what
yeah,
even I
and
believe. And
I
now
just
I think
want
it's more of the eye rather than of the face, because
yeah.
because now we are maintaining all those protocols which has been there. So I think the future what we are looking at now, you will, because I think your presentation will be very great on that, that how we can actually take ahead to the next level in creating the bond between patient and us, and also between the project which we are working in, especially as a team, and especially I think as a whole community which is we are now looking at. And I think that's one thing which we are looking at your presentation, and I request you now that if you can kindly go ahead with your presentation and you enlighten us with the bond and the communication, the key to 21st century dentistry. Please go ahead with the presentation. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. And before I proceed any further with my presentation, I just wanted to share that just recently I had a patient who came over. I was with my masks and everything, and I was smiling behind those masks because, well, simply I do. And when he came in, he said, I can see from your eyes that you're smiling so wide and so friendly. So um, there are other ways than just these, that they see our smile, they feel our smile. Um, I don't know. Sorry. So, yeah, my theme is bond and communication, the key to modern dentistry. So, a bit about myself. Let me introduce me. This is my family. I grew up in Lithuania, as Dr. Prashant N said. Over here on the left side, you can see my parents and little me, and on the right side, me with my little sister. I love them all. And yeah, I'm working as a prosthodontist in one of the bigger clinics in Vilnius, which is the capital of Lithuania. And if a bit more about me, I love all the water sports, kite surfing, wakeboarding, and Lithuania is great for both of these things. And what am I going to share about today? Um, this is actually quite a deep topic, so um, I will try to give you as much concentrated uh, knowledge about these things about bonding. By the way, as Dr. Prashant and said, I'm not only a dentist, I'm also a coach. That's why I did try to provide rather systematic approach to bonding with people. So first of all, I'm going to talk a bit about the roots of bonding, who, why, and how. I'm going to give you 3 rules, and I'm going to share just a bit about Roger James Hamilton's system. So, when talking about person-to-person communication and bonding in our profession, this is something inevitable, and all of us are doing this each and every day. And I'm more than sure that all of you doctors, you know how to bond with your patients, and you have amazing relationship with them and your colleagues. But well, as I mentioned, I'll try to look at everything from a bit more systematic approach. And just to do a short disclaimer, we don't have to fit everyone. We don't have to please everyone. Um, don't feel the pressure so that each and every patient has to become your best friend or whatever. That's unrealistic. This won't happen, and that's normal. But still, there's always room for improving our bonding with people around us. So, uh, the first person to bond is always actually you. And this is where I'm going to give you the rule number 1. So, the first rule is that if you are miserable or unhappy, you can't truly help anyone. There's a reason why in airplanes, when the pressure in the in the airplane cabin drops, you know, the masks fall off. And there's a rule that you always must put your own mask first, and only then you can assist others. So it's the same everywhere, actually. You must assist yourself firstly. And I know that many people would think that right now the theme should develop a bit more towards work-life balance, and I have my own opinion on that. I would say that you take yourself everywhere you go. You're attached to yourself. You take yourself to work. You take yourself to your free time activities, to wherever you go. And the same work-life balance, when you're at work, that's also part of your life. So bonding with you, yourself, is always the starting point. And just like in this picture, whenever we are pointing finger towards someone, the other 3 are always pointing at ourselves. So the first person to actually get to know, because to bond with someone, you need to get to know them, right? So it's always yourself. And when talking about making true connections, it has been discovered that there are 3 qualities which are always necessary or common to people who are able to form those strong connections. So the first thing is that people who are able to form strong connections, they are sure, they think, and they believe that they are worthy of love. The second one is that people have enough courage to show themselves to the world the way they are. And third, most important thing is vulnerability. Vulnerability is an ability to act despite how your actions may be perceived. So these 3 things are most important. And right now, I'm going to give you, um, let's say, a manual, a rule book, how you must act. And if you always act 100% of the time the way that I tell you to, you are going to succeed 100% of the time. I really, really, truly hope that right now everyone who's watching got like, what? Well, what is she saying? Because that's total nonsense, right? Because you can't put rules to connection with people. Rule number 2: don't let any system ever put you in a box. Because if you think that there are certain rules which you apply, you will always succeed. That's nonsense. And if you get, actually, this is something what we with Dr. Back discussed, is that through your journey, always gather all the rules, all the armor, so to say, so that later you would drop it. You would understand that you don't really need to hold to that tightly. And you simply need that to use as a guideline. It's not something that you would need to hold very tight to. Just use that as a guideline. And rule number 3, follow the 2 rules above. So you yourself first, and second of all, don't let any system put you in a box. And right now, let me share with you, I'm going to dive really deep, but because of the lack of time, and also, yeah, you need to do this step by step, of course. Roger James Hamilton system. This system actually is really widely applied in the entrepreneurs field, but it has really a lot of value. Roots of the system is from Carl Jung, and Carl Jung, because many nowadays, many psychometric tests, they come from exactly the same source. It's Carl Jung, and Carl Jung got the idea from China, from I Ching text. So you would find that many systems, they all have the same axis, the same spine. It all comes from China. Yeah, it all comes from China. So, but right now we're going to speak about Roger James Hamilton system. What does the system provide? People say that smoking kills. I would say that stress kills even more. And people even do smoke because of stress. So the system really helps to reduce stress. Other things, what the system does, it helps to accept yourself and others better. It really helps to use your own qualities or strongest sides in a much more efficient way. It helps to speak in other person's language. And also it removes all the space for fear and guessings why someone is acting in such a strange way from my point of view. So it really does provide few useful things, right? Before I proceed any further, I want to invite every dental professional to join the doctors group in Facebook. It's a group where we share not only content about teeth, but content related with our profession, and not only with teeth, but also with teeth as well. So when to talk about Roger's system, this is the scheme of the system. These 4 different colors represent 4 different energies. There's a 5th one, which is common to each and every of these 4. It's called spirit, and it's common to all of the people. And these four energies, we each uh, have all of them, but we have different percentages of it. That's how you get a profile of someone. When we talk about these four different energies, the green one is called Dynamo Energy. It's something, well, people with profound and really express dynamo energy, they're very intuitive, they're very big picture thinking, they're very fast. They're often described as having their head up in the clouds. People on the other side, with the yellow energy called tempo, they are described as having their ear to the ground. They're extremely sensory. They always know the right place and the right time to do something. People with profound blaze energy, the red one, they're really good at bonding with other people, actually, with communicating with other people. They're so described as the people. People with profound steel energy, or the one gray in the gray color, they're very analytical. They're always, you can ask them question how to do something, and they will give you the answer. And there are two ways how we all create value and how we leverage. Uh, when creating value, people on the dynamo energy, they're always about innovation and intuition, about new things. And people on the tempo side, they're always about the right time and the right place. They create value in this way. And when we're talking about leverage, people on the red side, blaze energy, they create leverage through magnifying things. And people on the steel side, the gray one, they create leverage by multiplying things. Right now, I'm going to give you short descriptions of each and every profile, and I'm going to give you examples of, well, more or less known people of that profile. So the first one is creative profile. These people are described as having their head up in the clouds, right? They're really big picture thinking. They're great at lifting the project off the ground. They're horrible at finishing things usually. And famous person of creative profile is Richard Branson. He's the person who has over 400 businesses. He doesn't run them by himself. He has people who do that for him. But when it comes to starting things, he's the best. He sees the big picture. He knows where. Sorry. So yeah, he knows. Sorry about technical difficulties. He knows where to start, and yeah. Further, we have star profile. People of star profile, they're also good at innovation, but they are very good at gathering attention from big groups of people. Wherever star is pointing his or her finger, everyone is watching. They're very good at sales and marketing. They're very good at meeting new people. One of famous star profile people would be Oprah Winfrey. We all know her. Even she has, wherever there's a sticker that Oprah is recommending that book or anything, it sells this fast, right? Over here we have a mechanic profile. This is a profile where people are really good at finishing things, at fine-tuning all the projects. Just as when you go to your car mechanic, you need to bring a car with you for a mechanic to fix it. So here as well, they need already to have something to improve it. I really love this example. Do you know who that is? He's actually a really famous guy. Maybe now you do. It's Ray Kroc, and he's the one. If not for Ray Kroc, McDonald's wouldn't be where it is right now as a business, right? Um, that's what mechanics do. He divided everything, all the procedures, all the steps, everything so well defined, so well described, so well distributed, so that the average working age in McDonald's could be 17 years old. 17 years. I mean, you need absolutely no experience to work at McDonald's, and that's all because of the Ray Kroc system. Over here on the bottom, we have trader profile. These people, they have their ear to the ground. They're extremely sensory. They always have the gut feeling. These people, they don't really like always meeting new people, but when it comes to forming connections, they are the ones who are going to form and build really deep and profound connections. Trader profile people are very good at um, when the project or the project comes to implementation, when bringing the product to the customer, they're extremely good at service. They are the ones to bring the product to the customer. And famous trader profile person is George Soros. When he actually is buying and selling stocks and shares, and when he was asked when he knows that it is a good time to sell, you would expect him to say, well, when I look at this and this chart or this and this percentage, then I know that. You know what he answered? His answer was, when I get a twinge in my back. So these people, they're extremely sensory. Over here, we have a deal maker profile. Deal makers, they're the ones who really love to play join the dots with people. If you know, there's a game where kids play it. When you have many dots, and when you join them, you get a picture, like a house or a tree or a car or whatever. So when they are meeting with people, they always know why some two people should really meet. The most important thing for a deal maker is their cell phone, because all the contacts are in there. And they know that their value is by being available. As for example, a star profile, they create value because they are not available that easily, while deal makers are always available. And deal makers will always value people before the tasks, before the data, before the system. People is always in a greater value for a deal maker. And you won't guess who's the famous deal maker? Donald Trump. Before he went to politics, if you actually had really good real estate deal, well, people say, I don't know, but people say that you could get through to Donald Trump. You of course had to talk to his team, but you could reach him, while you could actually never reach Oprah. Over here we have an accumulator. People of this profile, they're most introverted by nature. And these people, they're the most risk averse. They will always look at all the data, at everything, all the information around. They will do profound analysis, and they will tell you, for example, if it's not a good time to do something, they will tell you it's not a good time to do something. And actually, accumulators quite often get being told to be more positive, but it's hard to sound or to look very positive if you are saying to someone that something is not going to work. For example, if people on the somewhere in the app, like create hours, or here's something that what they are thinking about is not going to work, they're not very happy about that, right? So accumulator famous person of this profile is Warren Buffett. And I actually love this quote, which what he said that even during recession, people will always chew gum and shave. And that's why when he bought Wrigley's and Gillette. Over here we have a supporter profile. These people are the best leaders of people. Uh, all of the profiles are good and great, amazing leaders, but there's a different time when each of them should be leading and place, right? So supporter profiles are really good at strengthening their teams. They really know how to encourage people in their team. They're very good at this. And Jack Welch, this guy, when he was asked what's the secret behind his success, he said that it's not about me, it's about my team. It's about the people you surround yourself with. And over here, we have a thought profile. These people, they are very analytical. They know how to dot all the I's and cross all the T's. They're very good at KPIs and doing the analysis. They would hate being somewhere up front, needing to do sales or marketing or to make decisions using their gut sense. They would really prefer to look at all the data. And famous people of low profile, this profile got to Angela Merkel and Lakshmi Mittal. So, for example, Lakshmi Mittal, he does all his decisions after looking at all the KPIs, data, charts, and actually at the numbers. So, just shortly described all of the profiles, and I'm sure that somewhere you found yourself. And I thought that actually, well, there's a system for having really stable team according to this system. So I thought that this may be useful for people who doctors who have their own practices. So you find yourself, and then you do 2 steps clockwise, and you find your perfect team member number 2, and then you do another 3 steps clockwise, and you find your perfect team member number 3. This forms really stable and well-balanced team. I like to think of it as, for example, when you are driving a car, right? You by your own, you only have your front view. But if you have one side mirror and the other side mirror, you can really see much more around. You get much better perception of what's going on in the environment. So the same everywhere, right? And for doctors who would like to apply this to dealing with patients, you would really treat Richard Branson differently to, for example, Warren Buffett. Totally different approaches are needed. For example, if you get someone with profound dynamo energy, you already know that that person is very intuitive, very fast thinking, big picture thinking. And if you talk a bit with the person, and you, of course, after some time, you get better skills at that, you can already say that this is more of that side personality. That person would really love if you, for example, would say, okay, in your case, you have 2 options. One option, the treatment would last this and this long. It will cost you that, and you will get this. Second option, you have this outcome, that long, that much. I have a space for you on Monday. Should we write you down for a visit? They will love this communication. Doctor did his or her job perfectly. I understand everything. It's totally my speed, my tempo. Love it. And with these people, you need to finish projects really fast because otherwise they, oops, sorry, because they might not end it, not finish it. Just keep that in mind. And for example, if you have someone on the tempo side, the yellow part, right? Uh, these people are very sensory. They will definitely pay a lot more attention to how it smells in your clinic, uh, how your voice sounds. Uh, is it cold or warm? What your touches feel like? And they will definitely need some time to think. If you give them a treatment plan, they would really like to, usually, they would really like to talk with their family about it and then to come with the decision. If you have someone on the blaze side, for example, right? Uh, these people would like to connect with you as a person. They would really love to hear about your vacation. They would really love if you would ask them about their children. And they will probably invite you to be friends on Facebook. And they would really want that human connection to become friends with you. And when we have someone on the steel side, the gray one, right? These are the people who will think that you're doing a great job if you, for example, tell them about all the different, well, when it comes to prosthodontic, all about the different materials, all about their different flexural strengths, for example, or percentages of success rates of different treatment ways. And if you were to guide them towards some article or study that was made on the treatment that's waiting for them, and they would definitely read it, and they would think that, oh, that's a really good way of communication and explaining me what I need and what I want. Actually, there's a big chance that they have already done the study and read something online before they came to your office. And these people also, they would really value if you were to give them some uh, time to think, because they do need some time to do their data analysis. And actually, yeah, people on the steel and tempo side, they will definitely value that time to think. People on the tempo side, they would prefer to come for another visit to you to come to the final decision which treatment plan they're doing. And people on the steel side, they would probably a phone call would be enough. So, but once again, let me emphasize that don't let any system put you in a box. This is simply guidelines, and we need to always be conscious when dealing with people. And actually, intention is very much needed and important. And there's a reason why I started with bonding to yourself, firstly, because true bonding and using the system or any kind of system for bonding with people, uh, that should be the intention, is really powerful, because otherwise this may turn to wanting to manipulate people, and that's the road you don't want to go, because at the end, sooner or later, people will feel that. So yeah, the intention is very important, and connecting with yourself first. Like, only then you can connect with someone else, because if you didn't connect with yourself, then this may be just manipulation, actually. And to end it, you're the captain of your ship, always, right? And you have all the power to decide how to communicate with people, and you always have that sense and that feel what is needed and what kind of approach is needed. But still, all the systems and guidelines, they do help, they do grow you and improve you not only as a professional, but as a person. And as I said, well, you're attached to yourself. You take yourself everywhere you go. So I hope that this was helpful and useful for all of you. And yeah, this is also part of our job, part of our work, even though it has nothing to do with teeth, right? That's it.
Well, thank you so much, Lina, for sharing your deeper thoughts with us. And I believe it's indeed I say it's a very deeper insights what you have actually shared your thoughts about the bond and communication in the field of dentistry. And I think we will be definitely much the people around the globe who are listening to you at this point of time would have actually gained a lot of knowledge. What I say that what we believe in today's 21st century is that we need to have a I think a bond which will take us to the next level, especially both as a person and as a professional. And I think you have done this job amazingly well. And I have some questions for you. And can we take up those questions, please?
Yes, sure.
Yeah. So, what do you say about the like how, especially the new dentists who are coming up, the newer generation of dentistry are future leaders who are now coming up and who are facing this pandemic time during their practices? How what suggestion you can give it to them that how they can develop those bonds with the patient, especially to the newcomers which are there who are like entering the practice now and they are starting their practice so that they can take that step forward and they can grow in their future. So how you can help them? So you can give some tips to them on that.
Well, any tip that I will give, it's only because of my experience and
Yes.
what I gone through. So it's not probably it's not something that's universal truth or anything. But what works for me is whenever I'm actually sincere and honest. And well, it's probably more about what I spoke at the first part of my presentation.
Right.
It's yeah, bonding with yourself first, and then not being courageous and being vulnerable, because we are all people. For example, right now when I had to speak, you all know that I was, for example, nervous, right?
Yeah.
So, and I may have said something wrong, or maybe used some wrong words or whatever. I mean, well, if something would have happened, I don't know, maybe I would have forgotten some name or whatever. What can I say? I can say, oops, I'm a person. And, so not to be afraid, to be a human being and to be a person. And if you make some mistakes, simply to tolerate that normally, nothing falls apart. Yeah, and simply always to be honest and sincere. Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, that's super. Another thing, what you I was listening to you very listening, and you were like coming up with the teamwork. So how do you like take it as a team? Like I have a question with that, that how we can form a great team at our practices so that we create a bond between the team as well. The people who are working together at our center, what are your suggestions for that and how we can do it?
Well, there's always it's a bit tricky thing, because the best bond will be between the people who are similar. So
Right.
when I showed that square, right, with
Yes,
four
yes.
different colors, the best friends would be green with green, or
Okay.
maybe red with red. And because they are all speaking in the same language and they all
Right.
understand each other very well, because they're all the same, they're all similar, not the same, they're all similar. But to have a good team, you need diversity, because if you get only everyone on the red side, right? Everyone with profound blaze energy, everyone They're very sincere. They're all very friendly. They're good at meeting new people and stuff. And there's no one tracking all the data. There's no
Right.
one checking all the data. There's no, and then that's then the weak side of the team. So in order to have truly stable team, you need to be conscious that diversity and different people to what we are, they're a value for us. Even though, for example, if you're someone who's on the creator profile, you are very
Right.
fast thinking, and then someone on the tempo side, with
Right.
people who are slower, you don't get along with them that well because you're so very fast. You ran somewhere forward, and they're still over there doing some small things, and it bothers you. But you
Right.
need that. You always need people to focus on the small stuff when someone else is only considered about the big picture thinking, because otherwise nothing will get done.
Right. So how we can, that's another very good this thing you have put across is support and accommodate. I was very fascinated by this, the word, the accommodate, how we can accommodate the entire situation, especially as a clinician, along with our patients and along with our colleagues. What is your, that is one question which I've got, that what we need to accommodate, how we can accommodate that, something which is missing in our, like a link between the bond and communication, how we can accommodate it.
How can we accommodate?
Yeah,
Well, when you become more conscious, right? For example, when there are some people will love, for example, to um, get be friends with you on Facebook, and you don't want
right.
that,
Yeah,
and there is then misunderstanding between that because I come here
correct.
to work, and you want to be, or maybe a patient wants that. But then when you're conscious enough, for example, you know the system, let's say the system, you know that some people need that, and that's simply the way they function, and you take that normally. Then I mean, that's simply the way that it works. Or for example, if you're on that side and you want that really true profound connection, and you want to be friends with everyone, and they don't want to be friends with you, so
Right.
then I can, you know, we can take it personally and say they're really unfriendly. Or maybe they're not being unfriendly to you. They're simply, that's the way how they perceive things, that's the
Right.
way they function. That's not their thing to bother with all the social niceties, for example, because they're very task oriented, for example. They're simply very task oriented people,
Right.
and that's not because that they don't like you. Yeah, so
Perfect. Well, these were the questions what we have received, and I am so thankful to you once again, Dr. Lina, for actually
thank
coming up. And it was actually great. It was great having you with us on this podcast, and we were actually indeed an honor and pleasure for all of us. And I thank you all the viewers who had been there. And I'm Dr. Prashant, as a chairman of the International Cooperation Committee. Thank each and everyone for you from the Global Summit to be with us and spending your Sunday with us to learn that the bond and communication is the key of dentistry from none other than Dr. Lina. Thank you once again, and all of you have a great weekend. And thank you, Dr. Lina, for all your sharing your deeper insights. Thank you so much.
thank you, and
Yeah,
thanks for Global Summit and everyone who paid attention and watched this. And I hope that, well, if not for providing value, then at least it was fun.
right. Thank you so much. Bye
Thank
bye.
you.
Take care. Yeah. Thank you.
Bye.